This video has been brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audible.com/megacapitalG. Over 180,000 titles to choose from on your mobile device. I'm listening to the amazing I Can't Make This Up by Kevin Hart. Link in the description. What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, checking out some brand new V-Jump promos that just got revealed coming out of the OCG. Since these are coming out of the V-Jump and the OCG, we have no idea, of course, when we'll get these in the TCG. Konami could put these in a core booster set. They could put these in the Megatons. They could even put these in the new Gold series for all we know, but I digress. Let's go ahead and check out this new Reptile support, and it's interesting Konami's going towards reptiles because reptiles, truth be told, very similar to like pyro or fish. It's kind of one of those types in Yu-Gi-Oh that sometimes you tend to forget. Anytime, of course, you bring up reptiles, people always mention snake rain, but yeah, Konami definitely got a lot of work to do if they want reptiles to be good in 2020. First up is Dark Alligator. This is a dark reptile effect monster, level 8, 2500 attack and 2300 defense. Not the greatest stat line for a level 8 monster. I'll just be honest, I expected a little more, maybe somewhere between 27 and 2900 attack. It says your first effect is when this card is tribute summoned, you can special summon alligator tokens, which are reptile dark level 1. They do have 2000 attack, which is amazing for a token. 0 defense, up to the number of reptile monsters tributed for this card summon. Second effect, if this tribute summon card is destroyed by battle or by an opponent's card effect while in its owner's monster zone, you can add 1 reptile monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of Dark Alligator. Okay, so this is, it's a cute little card. Honestly, it kind of feels like a card that probably should have been released in like the GX era because tribute summoning isn't really all that popular. I mean, giving you the ability to tribute summon off of 1 card is fine, but I mean, in a world where we have so many good tribute summons like Monarchs and stuff like that, getting yourself a token as pretty much your only real immediate effect is, it's just kind of okay. I like the token has like great stats. I mean, if you tributed this hypothetically using 2 reptile monsters, you would essentially have what, like 6,500 damage on board, which is nothing to laugh at. Like, that's actually pretty legitimate, and this card does float upon destruction. However, it does have to be for another reptile monster. In a vacuum, I think that this card is probably worse than most Monarchs, but it does have some floating, so I guess that does kind of make up for it. If it dies, generally it should pay you back. Honestly, I feel like this card really probably should have came out in like the GX era. This definitely does not feel like a 2020 card because it doesn't feel like it has the immediate impact. And I know it does give you tokens, and tokens are broken, of course, in the Vrains era, but when you got new archetypes like this Salton coming out in Phantom Rage that can summon like 5 tokens and fusion summon twice in a turn, kind of feel like this card is nowhere near on that level. Anyways, we have Reptilia Egg, and this is kind of like a card that works in conjunction with our Gator. This is an Earth level 1 reptile monster, 0 attack and 0 defense. Your second effect is a hard once per turn. Now this card cannot be destroyed by battle, which is kind of nice. At least you can kind of set it. It says during your next standby phase after this card was normal summoned, you contribute it. Special summon up to 3 level 4 or lower reptile or rock monsters from your hand or deck. If you summon 2 or more monsters, they must have the same name but banish them during the end phase. Damn, that's a lot of restrictions on this card. So I guess if you want to summon Gator, Konami is maybe they're trying to use this as the way of pulling monsters from your deck and then tributing those for Gator and then getting a bunch of tokens. Feels like a lot of work. Yes, this card can't be destroyed by battle, which I guess would make it so that it's a little more likely that it's going to survive through your opponent's turn, but you do have to normal summon this card, and that is insanely problematic to me because if you normal summon this card to potentially get the second effect online, this card has 0 attack. Every time your opponent attacks into it, it's like they're attacking you directly. So the whole, like, it can't be destroyed by battle is kind of irrelevant in that sense. It makes it stick to the field, I get it, but you're basically taking direct shots to the face. That is something that concerns me. The second effect Of course, being able to summon 3 level 4 monsters, like that seems really good. Seems, oh man, Cap, that's a really impressive effect. However, it is, restricted to reptile and to rock monsters. Rock monsters was kind of weird to me. Like, that was just kind of strange that they would include rocks in there. Shout outs to Adamanticators and all these other rock type archetypes that have been getting a lot of support and seeing a lot of play recently. I don't like the fact that if you go for 3 rock monsters, then you have to go for, monsters of like the same name. That also feels really weird, and I don't know why they put that restriction in this card. Also, you have to use the monsters immediately after you summon them during that standby phase. If not, you're gonna lose them because they're gonna banish themselves anyway. So you better Exceed summon with those, or link, or tribute summon them away. This card honestly feels like there are just way too many hoops to jump through. I don't think that this card's actually going to survive to see that turn. I think you're going to take a lot of battle damage, and then your opponent's probably going to bounce it to your hand or something like that, and everything would have been for naught. I don't like the fact that the monsters banish themselves during the end phase, and if you go for a bunch of monsters, they have to have the same name. Honestly, this card just feels effing terrible. Like, it felt like it had a little bit of potential, but I'm not somebody who only looks at potential of a card. I got to look at, how you're going to use the card in practical settings, and I just don't like this card. Not to mention, if you just get ashed, you basically just went through all of that work and then you did nothing. If you could tribute it immediately, if you didn't have to wait until the next standby phase, like, okay, then we'd actually be like, we would have something there. But anyways, the last card is Sara Dragon. And Samsara, excuse me, but I believe that name or that word has something to do with rebirth. In fact, I think the word Samsara might mean rebirth in Japanese. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it has something to do with rebirth. Anyways, this is a light dragon, level 1 monster, 0 attack, 0 defense. Second effect is a hard once per turn. First effect says this card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a dragon monster. Shout outs to Light and Darkness Dragon. Second effect says you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 level 5 or higher dragon monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and then immediately after this effect resolves, you can tribute summon it. So yeah, get your Light and Darkness Dragons ready, people, because you can immediately summon a Light and Darkness Dragon using Sara Dragon, and then you can add that Light and Darkness Dragon back from the graveyard after it nukes your field or after it dies, and you have a way of getting it back. I should point out that the extra tribute summon, or that the tribute summon effect that Samsara gives you, it does not count, or it isn't, it's unrelated to your normal summon. So it isn't something that's like if you already use your normal summon earlier in the turn, then you don't get to use this effect. It is just an additional summon, but it does feel like, it requires some setup. Some people have talked about using this card in conjunction just with Link 1s, things like Link Karibo or Striker Dragon, and yeah, I guess hypothetically that can work. You could just normal summon this card, link it away, that gets it into the graveyard immediately. You could technically use something like Dragon Shrine to even set your graveyard up, or maybe even Foolish Burial, that could, drop a big dragon monster into the graveyard, and then after linking this away or getting it off the field, you could obviously try to like tribute summon for that monster immediately. It does take a couple of cards and a link monster maybe, but it is, theoretically a fairly decent play. To me, this card is basically just like a better version of Totem Dragon. Now, Totem Dragon is a card that really hasn't seen play since like the 5Ds or Zexal days. You got to go back to like Disaster Dragon and Hopeless Dragon, like Chaos Dragons and days of those. But this card theoretically isn't that bad. I do wish that it would have had maybe some other type of utility, like when it was sent to the graveyard. Maybe you could also give a dragon monster potentially like 500 attack or something like that. But it's fine for what it is. It basically takes an older card that was like super niche and gives us kind of like a facelift on it, or a better reason. I personally don't think I would run Totem Dragon at all anymore. If you were ever going to run that, I'd probably just run this card. But of the 3 cards, this is probably the best. Anyways, whatever you guys think, you leave that in the comment section below. Do you feel Konami is moving Reptiles in the right direction? I think we still got a long way to go. in my opinion. And if you ever wanted more reasons to run Light and Darkness Dragon, I guess we are going to be getting them. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.